rarely if ever been a better time to have a sweet tooth than right now. Take Mumbai, turn around any corner and you are likely to be confronted with all manner of bakeries and cakeries. From the old-fashioned kind with musty counters and regulars that date back decades, to the trendy new additions that cater to an ever more demanding audience. Which is why whatever your poison, from old-fashioned patties to cutting-edge cupcakes, melting macarons, mousses and other marvels of confection, someone somewhere is whipping up something for you. Yes, the literal bun in the oven has never held the promise of better business, and perhaps that's why many young entrepreneurs are choosing to invest in little more than a mixie to get things going. Yes, young inventive dessert makers are popping up all over the place, experimenting with different sorts of treats in different ways, the kind that wouldn't have been possible even a few years ago. For proof, look no further than trailblazer Pooja Dhingra, whose creations at La 15 Patisserie started with a few simple shelves when she was 23. Now, at 26, she has expanded to her first flagship store in Bandra, a dream that started on a whisk and a prayer.
When I started out 3 years ago, even in terms of ingredients as well as the final product, there was this big lack. And people didn't know too much about baking, about cooking. And I see that changing a lot. Like, so when I went to culinary school 5 years ago, I was the only Indian student in the whole school. And I went back last year and each class had around 7 to 8 people. So, you know, just in that span of 5 years, you can see the difference of people actually taking it up seriously as a career option. There is a big change in the way the industry is presented, the way people are looking at it now, not just, just a plain cake box with even attention to detail, which was only, I think, for 5-star hotels. Now, even people who are decorating or working from home, you see that additional touch to it.
Much has changed, baking is hotter than ever, and so today we're tracking some of the additions that this clamour for confection has led to. Take Rebecca Vaz, who works out of a tiny little Bandra by-lane. Her handle is @BakingTray and hers truly spilleth over. It's a homespun effort which actually works wonderfully, because who doesn't like good old-fashioned home-style treats? In fact, Rebecca gave up a career with an airline to pursue two of her loves, cooking and painting. Needless to say, she found a way to combine the two.
I flew with Air India for about 5 years. When I quit flying because of health reasons, I decided, why don't I do this? At least try it out. So what triggered it off was that I knew that I could make 3D stuff like this. I knew that I could take an idea and visualize it and put it into sugar. That's what convinced me that I can do this.
It's a good thing too, you'll see. And so on then to the treats she has laid out for me. Hers is not a shop. She cooks on order and to order, as this surprise indicates. Yes, look at that. Would you believe a customized cake built around our show?
Aneesha! I made this one specially.
Oh my goodness. First of all, thank you. Second of all, how gorgeous is this? I have to say, I've never looked quite so appealing in my life.
Do you like it? The little the little scarf when I give her goggles. When you told me that you were coming by, I thought I'd do a cake that was based around your show. This is made from sugar paste, so I use fondant to make this. So it gives this nice bright. It's like Play-Doh. When you mold it, it's like working with Play-Doh, which I've always loved and enjoyed working with.
The details are so precise that really you may notice the resemblance is not a passing one.
And my hair, I'm assuming, is chocolate.
Yes. I thought you'd have nice chocolate brown hair. So. And I had a little praline sand over here, so you might like the sand as well.
Since I've had my cake, I suppose I must eat it too. It's chocolate and orange, and yup, it tastes as good, maybe better than it looks.
So as cakes that I've tried on the show go, I don't think I've ever been as thrilled, certainly never as touched as I have been by this one. So much so that I was a little upset at the thought of cutting into such perfection, that I was hot at the idea of taking a bite out of myself. Of course, that lasted as long as it took me to take one. And now that I have, believe me, the entire thing is going to be demolished in about 5 seconds flat.
And dazzled as I am by this, I must move on to what else there is on offer, like this, say, a kangaroo-based confection.
So you could go anywhere and get a happy birthday cake, but you can't get these off the shelf because it's so personalized, right? So people call me like 2 days or a day in advance or whatever and tell me, oh, I really want this idea, I really want it.
And who wouldn't? But aside from the sugar work, it's worth mentioning that what that sits atop is pretty terrific too. So cakes check, what else is there? Well, a sample of her wedding cake rich with vanilla, marzipan and fondant. There's this, a delectable pie filled with two of my favorite things, salted caramel and chocolate. It's gooey, it's chewy, it's the kind to spend many, many hours over.
Sorry, I'm just having a little bit of a moment. Salted caramel, chocolate, pie crust, do the math. Honestly.
Though it must be said, you could possibly spend as much over her favorite morning treat, banana bread with cream cheese topping. Or perhaps make an occasion over this.
My mother-in-law is half German, half English. She got me the tin to do it. And it's called a German torten. Now, usually you put like seasonal fruit on it, okay? So, and it's got a custard, it's your sponge and then it's got a custard base. So this tart is actually curved in, so it holds the custard in it, okay? And then you've got all of this fruit. So it's, if I were to break it down into simpler terms, it's like fruit salad. But it's a prettier fruit salad with a sponge at the bottom.
That's what you call the understatement of the year. It's not just prettier, it's much tastier too.
This is the kind of dessert that you literally want to curl up and go for a nap with. It's that comforting. It's everything that you have grown up on. Fruit salad, custard, sponge cake, all coming together just brilliantly. She souped it up. It's stellar quality. It's like the most elegant, delicious trifle you've ever had.
I should mention also that the single savory, a sublime chicken mushroom and herb quiche is good enough to hold its own even against all that.
If there is a policeman paying attention, no doubt in the next 5 minutes there will be a warrant out for Rebecca's arrest, simply because I have wound up consuming at her behest criminal amounts of excess. I can't complain, I will not be filing charges, but if anyone is watching, no doubt that's what they'll do. Don't worry, I'll post bail.
Yes, this is called reaping the bennies of a very exciting new beat, and while I am tempted to settle in for the next hour or 20, move on I must. Why? Because that's the way, pardon me, the cookie crumbles. Speaking of which, I next find myself perched on the edge of a Bandra promenade waiting to meet the new baking sensation in town. It doesn't take long. In a few minutes, the nano that Swedish house mafia sells from pulls up. Yes, firstly, take a minute to appreciate the name. Secondly, that this business model depends on this little vehicle which will land up in sundry spots around the city selling one item only. And each time is sold out, often within minutes. These crowds were waiting for her well before her cell bell rang.
I think firstly the concept of cookies itself. And obviously the whole concept of where do you find it and what is she baking today and all that, the mystery behind what's coming.
I've come in from Dadar actually. I came to know that this lady gives cookies twice a week and these cookies are supposed to be really good. I haven't yet had one, but I would like to try it out and see what's the fuss about it.
The third interesting angle is we had to meet a little earlier than the crowds because she is determined to remain a secret purveyor of treats.
First, I want to ask, and my viewers are probably wondering, there is a reason why we are not showing her face. Explain to me that reason.
To begin with, I just want Swedish House Mafia to be known for its goodies and as Swedish House Mafia. I don't want any name to be attached to it.
Right.
Because then people tend to be like, oh yeah, this is XYZ's little bake shop or her car. So they associate the name with the goods. But I just want it to be Swedish House Mafia. Plus it adds a little bit of mystery to the whole thing, which is a little fun, quirky.
I think this little movable feast with a nano and things like that, how did that happen?
I bake when I want to bake and I bake for myself. I don't bake it makes me happy.
Right.
So I bake very small quantities, and the car just helps me to be a little bit more mobile, so I can go from one place to another.
Sure.
Sometimes there are 50 people who want something in Bandra, and then I feel that people in South Bombay are left out. So
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I'm accessible to everyone in the city.
Fair point, but now the reason why there would be a citywide call for her in the first place. It comes down to this: a giant, gorgeous cookie.
S'mores-filled chocolate chip cookies. Basically graham crackers and chocolate and marshmallows and the works.
What is, she says with her mouth full once again, the best part is these are, I mean, phenomenal cookies, as good as anything you're going to get anywhere in the world. They're not born out of pastry school, they're born out of someone with an oven, a stove and a love of cooking, and as it turns out, a little nano. She's not even started a store. This is going to trundle up into your neighborhood, you know, any day she feels like it. And no doubt there are going to be crowds, because I tell you this, you have one bite, there's no way of not having another.
And it's worth mentioning that each time the offerings change, she has quite a repertoire going.
So these Nutella inner circles, which are like pinwheel butter cookies, cinnamon graham crackers. I'm going to do a peanut butter and jelly variation soon. All these are cookies. And then I have an M&M's one in the works somewhere. So that's just off the top of my head right now.
To figure out the where, what, how and why, Twitter's the handy helper. Living proof also that these days something tasty served in style or with a shot of humor is perhaps the greatest treat of all. And so we'll enjoy our spot, our scene and our sweet something. But as always, there's more coming up after the break.